boys, welcome to a special edition of Talkin Shop. Most importantly, it's creamsicle week for the Bucks, so taking it to the Lions. We're going to put on a show. But of secondary importance is we have typically in these episodes we've looked back. We've looked back at the week. We've given awards. We've done all those kind of things. This week we're looking forward. There'll be a lot of takes. I'll explain a little bit more about that. But we're going to start with something we had to address that happened in the middle of last week's episode. There was a hot take directed directly at Mr. Hawkenballs himself, Blake Walter. We need to offer a rebuttal. So, Dalton, if you have that take, we need to read it, and then Blake, you have the floor to respond.
All right. So here it is, and this is a direct quote: "Hot take, space hyphen space." The trade today was bigger, and that's referring to the trade between Bradley and Nathan. The trade today was bigger than the 3-team trade last week. I thought Blake self-proclaiming the trade as the, quote, biggest trade in fantasy history just happened, unquote, was premature and absurd. The 3-team trade was a little underwhelming in my opinion. Blake's statement could be compared to Lance Stevenson claiming he was the biggest free agent signing in the Hornets history in 2014. Not the 2014 Hornets. My goodness.
First off,
Blake, the floor is yours.
I'm sorry I couldn't make it last week. I feel bad about not being able to be here. This is Scott. It's Scott. I knew it was Scott when I first read it. It's the most obvious Scott Ashby thing I've ever heard. And this is the thing is, I heard it. I gave him a call. And you know what? I gave him exactly what he wanted. Made a call. Hey, what's going on? What are you talking about? Really? You're bringing up? And here's the deal. Nobody has this kind of NBA knowledge. Nobody's bringing this up except for Scott Ashby.
You don't think I don't know about the 2014 Hornets?
It's not that you wouldn't know. It's that you wouldn't bring it up.
That's fair.
You talking about Doug Jones or something. So here's the deal. Scott brings this up because he knows all it is just to get a response out of me. He knows it's going to piss me off. Right? He knows it's just to bring something up to get me rattled. But here's the deal. You're talking to a team that's got, we're talking about, Bradley says, we're not looking back, we're looking forward. That's Hawkin also balls, my friend. We're looking forward. We're not looking back. We're looking forward. All right? And hey, we're striking while the iron's hot. You're messing with the wrong team right now, man. Wrong team, Scotty. Because, hey, be careful, buddy. You're a game away from being right down here with me. Hey, that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say, Scotty. And I'm coming for you. You don't want this.
I hope you enjoyed that segment because that was directed right at you. Right here. Right at you. So,
I love that.
Good luck, man. That. Good luck. Big
little
shot.
Y'all know that G. Lopez actually put that text.
Gee, that's funny. Seriously, though, that was that. Have you seen those little random, I think it's Barstool where they're just like name guys. And have you seen those little things where there's what about this guy? I immediately thought, man, first of all, Lance Stevenson, I mean, he's around but I would have never known that he was on the Bobcats or cared. And he threw that out there and I was immediately like mad respect. That was a diss. I know that really pissed Blake off. And in that sense of it, that's I got respect for that, but I don't know I don't know that I agree with it, but I just love the dig was so niche. I loved it.
And here's the other thing, Scott: 11 players that are starting and involved in a deal, and you're going to say that a 4-player deal that have a guy that hasn't played in 3 weeks? What are we talking about? It's just Scott being Scott. This is who he is. We know it. We've seen it. Maybe you guys haven't, but I've known him since first grade. This is Scott. This is the way it goes. This is nothing new for me. I understand.
Well, what Scott doesn't know is that this guy right here was part of that deal. And I think that alone puts it in the best trade, probably in fantasy history. So I'm with you guys on that.
Wow.
Goodness.
I think it's a great segue into what's about to happen. So let me just intro today to all
Tell the people what they need.
Gentlemen, welcome to the 2023 Midseason Take Purge. There was a movie that came out, I don't even know how long ago. I think it's 8 years ago now. I should have done more research. But basically, it was called The Purge. And the premise is that in the United States, there was one night, I want to say it was 12 hours, where there is no such thing as crime. And the goal was that anything goes in those 12 hours. But after that's done, then everything returns to normal. It's almost like nothing counts in that segment of time. I watched the movie, and the overwhelming review was that it was a better concept than a movie. So I will say this is going to be a better bit than the actual movie, but I think it's great. So what we're about to do is we're about to enter into the Scranessy Take Purge. And gentlemen of the barbershop, we have earned our right to share opinions of anything and everything. Let me make a few disclaimers. One, there is nothing personal that's about to be said. Everything here,
no hard feelings.
Be a wild take, no hard feelings. And also, it doesn't count during the purge. Once the purge is over, we go back to our normal lives. These things go in the ether and probably are never seen again. But this is what's about to happen. So we're going to share some things. We asked you, the people, to share some of yours. And
I've got them here.
Our commissioner,
Yes.
Our commissioner says that there's some good ones. And so the three of us have not heard anything. So we're very excited about this. So, gentlemen, if you are prepared and ready to go,
let's do it.
1 second, please. Moment of silence.
It's not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government.
All right, boys, the clock has started. So
let's go. Let's begin.
I will go first, just to launch this out. I think G. Lopez will be competing for the consequence at the end of the season. I think, and it's nothing personal to G, but his roster is doing, I think, what a lot of us expected. When it's good, it's really good.
Yep.
I mean, when there's cracks in the armor, things can fall apart very quickly. And this could be a snowball effect if one of his guys goes down.
If one goes down.
Can I piggyback?
I would just say we may be seeing the rise and fall of G. Lopez. That's my take. Yeah, Blake.
The thing here. So the thing about Jesus, guys, Jefferson not being there is a big deal. Like it's a huge deal, and it's one of those things where if Jefferson's there, he's guaranteed 25. I mean, obviously he didn't play. I mean, he didn't get that last week, but he didn't finish the game, and but like when Jefferson plays, he's 25 a game, as we've seen. And if you look, so is McCaffrey, and Mahomes is usually. I mean, don't be shocked if Mahomes puts up 20 either. But I mean, that's 75 points that you're kind of counting on. And if the way his roster is built, if those other guys show up to play, he'll be fine. But not having that 25 points is a big deal. Like that's a huge gap that I don't know if he has the depth to fill in. Like I don't think
receivers. When we talk about receivers, he's got Adam Thielen, who's been amazing. Are we going to count on Adam Thielen to be a 20 to 24 point scorer the rest of the way? I don't know.
What year is this? 2018.
He does also have. He's also rostered to Commanders receivers. Which
let it be known.
So anyway, there's my take.
I will remind you that in the punishment era, there has not been a single season when somebody who was in the top two didn't end up in the bottom two next year. So I mean, it may happen.
What do you think? Like, what do you think is that? What is that?
Overconfidence? Hangover.
You draft. I think you draft too aggressively once you come up in the top two and lose. I know I did. I mean, I came second to Bradley. I was heartbroken, and I drafted way more aggressively than I should have, and it led to a pretty terrible team the next year. But
yeah, I think too. It's sometimes when something works, you feel like everything you touch is going to work. Yeah. Like it's like you've seen it work before, and you feel like for me, it was like McCaffrey. McCaffrey was hurt the year before. He was up the year that I ended up coming in last. I was like, I got to get him. I'm going to get him when it works, right? When he doesn't get hurt, and then he gets hurt again. And then you're like, which is obviously like injuries are one thing. Yeah. But, I mean, I looked at my team, and I mean, at week 15, 16, when I needed a win, like I'm starting the second running back for the Colts in a play. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like Tony Pollard 4 years ago. I'm starting Tony Pollard in a playoff game when he's not even getting carries. You know what I mean? Like, that's not – I'm hoping that he gets an 80-yard touchdown run in garbage time. That's what I'm hoping. I'm counting on. Like,
so is it more of a curse, or you think it's like you think it is a legitimate like hangover? Sounds like it's a little bit more of a like just injury bug. Which
If it
I would say
happens
both
this
of us
year,
have got the injury bug.
it'll be a curse.
Yeah.
I think if it happens again, it's the curse of
I agree.
fantasy bowl. Okay,
Just hope it's not you.
Dalton,
Let me,
let's start with you, man.
So I have organized mine from my perspective, and these aren't my takes; these are the GM's takes, from least to most outrageous. So I want to start off with two, if I can hit two back to back, two short ones.
I love it. Go for it.
Number one, and this is a direct quote: Jerome Ford is ass.
That was not me. I promise. I just couldn't stand behind that more.
Anybody
So
want to throw anything to that?
Is that this is an adult program, by the way. Is that the second use of ass in 2 episodes?
This is, and let me tell you, they came from the same person.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, we know who that is.
So, any pushback on that? I don't.
I have nothing to say.
I don't. Yeah, listen. I'm just gonna here's the thing. Like when it comes to trades, it legitimately, if you can swap, like if you could swap places with the other person and have their team and think, man, okay, I would do this trade. Yeah. I think like you're not violating rule 0. However, if you're flip flopping, like you flip seats with someone else, and you're like, man, no way he would. There's no way I would accept this trade.
Yeah.
And you put the trade through, you should be suspended. Like you should be forced to sit out a week. No, seriously, like you sit out a week. You're done. I
got you.
I had two. I mean, just absolutely horrendous trades that you wouldn't even look that thing in the mirror. Like there's no way you'd look that thing in the mirror. And these, the boy, just outrageous. That's my rant.
I think.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You go. I think we've got some teams that are wandering into over trading territory. I mean, eventually you build a team. You gotta go with your guys. Like eventually you have to cash in on the value that you have.
Yep.
Because I think we love talking value. Like, oh, that's a great value pick, or like, hey, that trade. Look at all this value I get, or hey, buy low, sell high, that whole thing. But eventually, I got to have guys that can give me a return on that value, that can actually bring value to my team.
Yeah.
And eventually, if you have a guy that's getting you good value, you got to keep him. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like there's some guys, and I think we probably know who I'm talking about, that are just so obsessed with trying, like, you can almost overdo it.
There's a fine line between like always wanting to improve your team, never satisfied, but also so much so that you can overdo it, like you said.
And I think too, like last year, I looked at my team and the names were great. Oh my gosh! Yeah. Like last year, or come playoff time, like it's nut cutting time. I got to get some wins, and on paper, the names that I had, nut cutting time. It's time to show up, see who we got.
Castration Nation, baby.
On paper, I thought my guys. I mean, you look at that roster, you're like, man, if I was an NFL GM, I'd probably pick that team over anybody else. But it's like those guys weren't producing that year. It didn't matter. Like I don't know. I think comes a point where you gotta keep the guys that you have that are good. I don't know.
Agree.
All right. The second take, I think, actually is on the subject. So if I may,
yeah.
This is a longer one from another GM. I don't understand why Britt traded the RB4 and the wide receiver 3 to get the wide receiver 47, who isn't even the number 1 target on his own team. And somehow the dude is still 4-1 and projected to win the league. Ripping hammies, ripping lips. I don't care. Brother is ripping wins out left and right, and I don't know how or why. End quote.
Again, I don't know. I would say it's going to come back to bite him, but he's actually getting some guys healthy. Like if Eckler and Cooper are healthy now, then that's fine. Waddle is a wild card. He just is. But
yeah, I think the Puka thing is different too, solely because he's the wide receiver 3 when Cooper Kupp's not there. But obviously we know And obviously, he didn't know when he traded away Nakua. There's this idea of, well, if he comes back and becomes irrelevant, I'm left with nothing, right? But it's a little bit of the value thing. Like he's going to get he tried to get as much value as he could for Puka, and I don't know if that was a bad call. Only time will tell.
Yeah. I would say there's also something psychological about playing 2 wide receivers from the same team. Like,
yeah,
are you really going to start Coop,
yeah,
Cup, and Puka? Like, it's just hard to get over that hump.
I couldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't do it.
I don't know. I'm the same way. So
it's hard for me to start a running back and a receiver on the same team just because I'm like, they're gonna, even though it's not necessarily true. I definitely would see that from.
Honestly, I think about that with Lawrence and ETN right now. It's like I don't, it's like unless it's a screen pass, like how many only one of them is going to get all those touchdowns. So I understand. Definitely why
a Brits trade. I don't know why this hot take is here. I think I loved the trade.
I agree.
I've loved the most recent trades, and so I'm pretty happy with people trading. We can stop now, but love the recent trades. So
yeah, I'm gonna give a firm, or actually a medium firm disagree to this take. But so be it.
That's why they're takes. That's why they're takes. Dalton, you got any personal ones before we go down to Blake and Nathan?
Yeah. Taylor Johns is in the barbershop. How do we feel?
Is that a question?
No, that's my take.
Hey, he's part of the LLC.
He was part of the LLC the year that we took it home. I think there's 5 people in the barbershop, boys.
I would agree. I would also say if Andrew Luck won a Super Bowl, that is Taylor Johns. He just kind of disappeared. And led his normal life, reading a lot of books, playing a lot of music, and just doing his own thing. He doesn't really want to be a part of anything anymore, and I think that's okay. So
that's respectable. Nobody's expecting him to hop on a podcast or even know that Scranton exists, but there are 5 men in the barbershop.
I would agree.
That's my take for the day.
A great take. Fully agree.
I would have had no idea.
Yeah,
I feel ashamed. I feel ashamed.
Blake, you got one?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think about guys, freaking Noah put up 155 points and 3 of the starters didn't play. And I'm not trying to just talk about my team the year that I won, but I feel like he's about to go on that type of run where it's I don't know if there's going to be a team that beats him genuinely. I feel like he could rattle off 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. How he's 3-2, I don't understand.
You're looking at.
Yeah, really.
But I mean, if you look at his ranks per, his flex was an issue, but I mean, Mike Evans had a bye, and that's the thing is he had starting quarterback, a starting running back, and his flex did not play last week. I know he had Jamar Chase go for 50, which isn't going to happen every single week. But it's I guess that's what I'm talking about. Is even when he had guys not playing, he could put up crazy numbers. And he's just dangerous.
You think he's going to be in the championship? I mean, let's do this.
I do. I think he's a championship team. I really do.
You can see. Go ahead.
I genuinely don't know if I'm him. What do I do to this roster? How do you get? I don't know what I do to get better. It's kind of what Nathan's saying. Laporta has been a dog. And that was the thing. I was I mean, this is the guy. This could be his only weakness, and right now he's probably a top 3 tight end right now.
Yep.
So I don't know. I look through it and I'm hey, if I was Noah, what would I do? What decisions would I make? I don't know what I'd do. I genuinely don't know what trade I could make.
He has had some unlucky weeks, and I could even see him this week having an unlucky week and still having a massive scoring game. But I think if he does sneak in at a 4 spot in the playoffs in the 2-week format, it's going to be tough. I mean, he's going to put up a lot of points.
I mean, the point of fantasy is just give yourself a chance, right?
Right.
Don't play darts out there. Give yourself a shot, and he has a lot of chances on the board. So, I mean, you look at it that way. Jamar Chase went off for 50. He could have Bijan still, I think, has a breakout game coming. He's got a couple guys that could erupt at any point. So, I mean, yeah, I would say he's definitely playoff bound, unless he just can't get wins, unless guys like DJ Moore just go off and you get these little He could lose 3 in a row due to matchups, and it'd be just insane. But he's either the unluckiest team of all time, or he's going to go to the championship. I think there's
you guys know that. You know he plays this week, right?
Mm-hmm. I've got a related hot take.
Go ahead, Dalton.
Nobody, and I'll repeat, nobody has won a Scranton championship their first year in the league.
There you go. Are you going to say that continues? Or are you saying that streak will be broken?
That's just a take. I mean, you think about every year of Scranton,
I think that's all five. Stat, Dalton.
I don't. Well, yes.
I want like, give me some material here.
The take being that you didn't win the Scranton championship year one.
Oh, it's a shot at me.
Yeah. That's what it was.
I see. I see.
I have no.
Fair. Sorry, that went right over my head. Good take. Nathan, you got anything?
I do. I think there's three guys at 1 and 4, and I think 2 of them have really good teams, and I think that one of them will make the Final Four.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think they have. Wyatt, I don't think he does not have a good team.
Well, here,
have good teams.
Why don't you make the case for Blake? Because I'm going to piggyback off you with the other one, because that was my other take. Go ahead.
Well,
I mean, I just think he's strong. Like, I think maybe his biggest weakness is quarterback. But I think he's got great receivers, and running backs that have a lot of volume. And yeah, I like Trevor Lawrence, but if I could see that, I could see that being a reason why, like inconsistency there, just like not having confidence. But I think he's got a great team. I don't think it's two. I don't think it's two. It would like you said it a couple years ago, or maybe it was last year, like where you like looked at your team and on paper it's like, I don't like, on paper this team looks really great, they're just not performing. I would say it's kind of the opposite. Like the same thing. I think you've made a couple trades that have really helped your team out and got a lot of volume. I think you can make a run.
I like where I'm at. I was talking
make a run.
Me too, obviously. I was talking to somebody today, and I'm like, I think I was talking to Cooper, but I was like, man, I'm at the point where I like where I'm at, and the only reason I'm going to make a deal is if I feel like it strengthens a core position. Like, I'm not going to, like right now, getting another, like I've got 3 running backs I feel comfortable starting. I've got 4 wide receivers I feel comfortable starting. Like, unless one's a real upgrade at one of those positions, like I'm good.
Yep.
And I mean, obviously injuries happen, and then that changes everything. But like right now, I'm content with where I am, and I'm ready to. I'm good to let this team see what they're about. But sorry, yeah, that was enough about me.
I'm kind of piggybacking off you, Nathan, and you can add to this. Actually, I'm going to twist my take, and probably not going to be happy about this. Evan will have more single-digit losses this year than anyone in the history of Scranton. Therefore, being the most talented team to miss the playoffs in a while, I think he's talented. I think that. Yeah. I think the Bengals are back. I just do. I think that he's got good receivers. I think he's got good running backs who haven't filled their potential yet. Like, he's got a good team. I really believe that. But I think he's still in for like a 6-point loss, a Monday night comeback for somebody, and we're either going to get a really successful Pollard Greens team, or there's going to be a threat of quitting the league by the end of the year from Evan. I don't want that. This is the take purge, though. This is how I feel. And if Evan gets another couple of close losses, I think he's going to erupt in some way, shape, or form. And so I hope that doesn't happen, Ev. This is just, but you've got a great team. But I think you may be very unlucky coming up. I hope that's not the case.
I think that is I also agree. I think his team is better than the record right now. I will also say, as somebody who has suffered a string of really close, devastating losses and then, bowed out, it is, I can see the frustration. So, I mean, I hope that doesn't happen. The league is better from a cultural standpoint when Evan Hubbard is in the league. So,
100%.
And I think for all that we joke, I think he is a champion of Rule Zero like no other. And I think he's going to put together some wins. But I also see the scenario of several, like you said, Monday night comebacks. It could be close.
There's just a guy every year that the luck just isn't on your side. And it's just seeming like Evan, not because his team sucks, just because it's not, the ball just doesn't bounce your way. Real quick, we have just a few minutes here. Dalton, let's get to your list. And we'll get some brief, like just quick hitter responses if we want. But I want to make sure they're all out there for the.
Gotcha. All right. This next one, Blake, I'm going to have to defer to you on this. The Vikings need to blow it up. How do we feel?
Blow it up. I agree. Do this. Caleb Williams needs to be a Minnesota Viking. If he's not, the season's a failure. Do this.
All right.
This is what we need.
Do we trade Kirk now? What do we do?
Trade Kirk now. Get as many assets and picks you can get. I love Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk is a great quarterback. I don't think the team is built to win a championship with Kirk Cousins.
Just because you trade somebody, it doesn't mean that you don't like him. Doesn't mean that it's not the right move. So, I think if it'll better your team the next year. I honestly think trading Kirk is a really honorable thing. Hey, we know he's good. He can compete. We can get good value out of him. I don't think it's he sucks. We're going to trade anything by any means.
I got 4 words, then we'll move on. Future Viking Bo Nix.
9658.
Next.
All right. Nobody gets 10 wins this season.
Yeah.
So that would be the best anybody gets is 9-4.
After this week, I mean, somebody's gonna have 5. So is that include playoffs? I'm not really sure.
That's just, I suppose, it would just be regular season. Yeah.
That's a good take. That'd be a fun year, honestly.
Yeah, there's a lot of parity.
I can see it being more parity than usual. All right. Blake's 2020 championship run is the single greatest season in Scranton history.
Wow.
How do we feel? I don't know. That's tough to say.
That's crazy. And also, it was a crazy year. I remember I was probably insufferable for those first 4 weeks. And honestly, the rest of that year, I was probably insufferable because I was 0-4 and I had the most points scored, and then I was probably insufferable because I was winning.
Nathan was pretty dominant last year. Nathan was.
I wasn't here for yours, Blake. I can't really, but so I can't really know.
No, yeah, your team was nuts too. Would you have Eckler and McCaffrey? That's nuts.
I did have Cooper Kupp and Eckler. I don't think anyone likes to talk about my teams that won, and that's fine. I'll wear that.
No.
But okay.
I did have a Triple Crown winner.
Butter.
No. Hey,
I'm cool.
I can attest.
Titles don't lie.
The year that you I guess the most recent time that we played, that was a very, very formidable team. I don't know if I can say it's the greatest, but that team that's a barbershop team. You got no.
I would not say it's the greatest. I would say Blake and Nathan have arguments. That'd be a great take for another show.
I got mine on accident, and
I don't think that. Go ahead.
Well, no. Listen to this. This is a take. This is a take that I'm glad these 4 men specifically are going to debate. In terms of overall legacy, Britt Ryan belongs on the Scranton Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
I don't know what they mean by legacy.
I don't either.
I don't know if they're talking about.
We need someone else to come in. We need someone else to come in and explain themselves. I have no idea what that means.
It's because he was in the Waffle House. I don't know about that one. I mean, you're looking at 4 right here. The Mount Rushmore has 4 faces on it,
and
here we are.
5, but
yeah, sure.
I think today this is the 4, and I don't really know how you can argue that at this point.
I don't know if they're talking about
1, 2, 3, 4.
Like if it's because he's league culture or he made a run to the champ. I don't know. I think that is an L take. No disrespect to Britt. He's put some good things for the sake of the league, but you got to be the man. To be the man, you have to beat the man, and here we are.
I mean, it's similar. Like you think Dan Marino's the top? Is he on the Mount Rushmore quarterbacks? I just can't put him up there. You know, I mean, without the championship, it's hard to make that argument.
And that's why they're talking about legacy. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Dalton, maybe you can reach back out and we can get a further explanation. Maybe they can appear next week and give a little bit more of some context, because I failed to see it. I'm newer to the league anyway, though. But
that's a great hot take, though. I like that. I like that. That's a part of this episode.
I think that was the end of the list too. Vikings blow it up. Jerome Ford. Yeah, that's all the ones that were submitted.
All right. Anybody else got a big one? Got a hot take? That was pretty good. That was a pretty good one.
I don't. I think I've expended all of mine.
I'll say.
I think so.
I think we have. I don't think we have another quote unquote big trade left. I could be wrong, but I think people are pivoting towards either.
I think if the rosters stay as they are, but I mean with injuries, man, people, you might see somebody blow up just because.
That's true.
Like if someone else were to go down on G's team and he had to sell McCaffrey for two, I mean that's
true. That's true.
I think an injury could, if no major injuries happen, I think I could agree with you. But I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, gosh, people are getting hurt left and right. So,
all right, boys. I think that's all.
I have one more. I've got one more flaming hot take. Wyatt's the first person ever to do the punishment 2 years in a row.
That's not flaming hot as you think it is, man.
That's where I'm at. I think Jerry Judy's going to come back to get him, and I think he's going to be doing the donuts, coffee, and miles.
Who's the Steve Smith to his Jerry Judy, Blake?
No.
Who's the Steve Smith to Wyatt's Jerry Judy?
I guess I don't follow.
Oh, never mind.
Did you see the Steve Smith clip where he called out Jerry?
Steve Smith cooked him last night. You have to.
Really?
Check the Twitter feed or check the.
I'll absolutely look that up. I'll absolutely look that up.
TBD.
Boys, that is the end of the take purge for this part. All of those takes are now gone. I don't even remember what we talked about for 30 minutes. But big week coming up. Dalton, you give me a 30-second highlight of some of the matchups.
Yeah, I think there's a couple that right off the bat. For one, we got Nathan and G, the rematch. They're both 4-1. They both got questions about injury bug, things like that. They're very close in projections. That's one to watch. Whoever wins that is going to at least have a share of first place. Another one to watch is, does Britt win? And if Britt wins, I think Lasso is 3. No, Britt's not playing Lasso. If Britt wins, he also gets a share of first place. And then we see, does Lasso go to 3-3? If he does, it's really hard to call him a top tier team. And then we got some of the other matches are going to be big momentum boosts for teams that are trying to get, a second and a third win. So a team like Scott, as good as it is, still looking for a third win. So I think this week is definitely a fulcrum for sure.
This week is answering a question of, will some of these trades pay off? I think these next 2 weeks will say a lot. Boys.
Don't forget. It's week 1 of the in-season tournament, boys. I need some points scored.
Okay, we had to jump back in the Purge, Nathan and I, for just a second. This is
the other two you're not getting on? Is it just the two of us?
It's just us two, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so this is just us two real quickly after hours. We had to cut off our segment a little bit early. I had to go get my son, and so didn't get everything in, but we're just going to do a tiny little snippet. Got 2 big things for this little after hours thing. Jumping back in the Purge. One thing I want to acknowledge kind of the GM that we haven't, and I had to take for him, but Cooper Passmore. Cooper Passmore is let me tell you who Cooper Passmore is right now, Nathan. Cooper Passmore is when you're back in high school, and let's say when you're a freshman in high school, and the nerdy girl with glasses, and she's she's short, she's real nerdy, she's not she's just not cool, she's not part of the cool crowd, and you know her, she's really nice, but you don't really talk about her much. And then you show up to junior prom, and the glasses are off, and
yes, she's wearing glasses.
Suddenly the queen of everything. Now Cooper is kind of like that in a sense that
he was wearing glasses.
I think so. He might have been. Cooper may need to try that out. But
that is.
I feel like we don't talk about Cooper enough. He's projected to have the most points this week. We've got some guys who go off. Unfortunately, that's against me this week. But Cooper could be the guy who he's about to take the glasses off, get a makeover, and kind of wow the league. So I'm actually on the Cooper Passmore bandwagon a little bit. So this is my little brief shout out to you, Coop. This is take Purge, so this is honest. I really think you've got a shot.
Yeah, and full disclosure, we were texting back and forth this week at some point, and I told him that I thought he had a team to do it. It wouldn't surprise me. I think what I said. I think so. Him and Noah are 3-2. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the championship.
That'd be yeah.
I think they both have a strong team, and they just like both of their. Well, I don't know who their other losses. Well, I guess you beat Noah and I beat Noah, but that was the first game of the season. Like he didn't have Laporte on his team at that point, I don't think. But yeah, those two guys, I have a note card written down, like where everybody is, and I think I think they have a legitimate shot. Like they're one game back for sure, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I definitely could see them as top two for sure. So I think, man. He's wearing glasses. That's what a great she's all that. What a great little reference there. I
was trying to think of a good analogy. I think that's the perfect one. So
no, that's really good. I think he's got like we were talking about G's team, how he has like 75 points that just like until Jefferson went down. Like we were talking about Coop. I didn't say this, but like he also has Jalen Hurts. Like he has like Jalen Hurts average is like 26. So
yeah, and I don't think he's played
and Kelsey
his level yet. Jalen Hurts hasn't.
No. And with Kelsey, who he's like 10 points above the next guy. That is just from like the way I look at it is like the competitive advantage at the position. He's got two of the guys who, he has probably in almost every single game he has the competitive advantage in those two positions. Like in every. Of course, now that doesn't mean they're going to score out, going to outscore, but like they should. They're probably projected to outscore. They're his opponent every time. So
and that was his strategy.
He's dangerous, man. He's dangerous.
He told me he's getting a good quarterback. A lot of people just kind of wait it out. He's like, no, I'm going to get a quarterback, and it could pay off. But that wasn't the real reason. So that's one reason. But man, I just wanted to check in on you. This is a little bit of a wellness check. So I texted you. I was like, hey, let's do like a little 10-minute, maybe a little bit more segment to finish out since we got cut off. I'm just be honest, man. There's a few remarks, a little bit of a Jerome Ford background. I could just sense there were some things brewing in your spirit that I just want to make sure you're good. We're jumping back into the purge so that you can feel free to do and say and frame this up however you want. So I just want to give you the floor for a second. This is kind of wrapping up our Take Purge officially. So I don't know. I just want to make sure. Are you good? You got anything you want to get off your chest? Where are we at?
You're a really good friend, by the way. You can tell when somebody's just got something on their, got something in their bones, like something, but maybe, I'm just chill. So I appreciate you reaching out. And when we did that, I honestly hadn't, like the purge. I was so confused whenever you sent the text about, hey, it's going to be a purge thing, whatever. I had no idea. And so, and then in the midst of it, I was just like, well, I'm not just not going to say anything. But since you circled back, since you came back around, let me just, man, I work from home, work remotely, and I am just like in this data analysis, just straight up like crushing some data at the coffee shop. I had to get out of the house today just to get some fresh air, and so I'm just grinding at the coffee shop, and I get a text that's like, "What's up with Deontay?" And I was like, my first thought was like, well, I think he's on the IR. He's still on the IR, but I think it's just because they have a bye. Like, I think my first inclination is like, I mean, the reason why I made the trade is because he's healthy. He's coming back. Like that. I'm not even like that's where my mind goes. So I said, I think I respond back to the text like, well, what do you mean? And like as I'm typing, what do you mean? Again, like I'm kind of transitioning from data analysis to this conversation, and the text that I get was I'm gonna pull up and just read it what it said. And Saquon, are they on the table at all? And I was just like kind of, again, like I thought someone was like, dude, just checking in on me. Like, are you okay? Why'd you make this stupid trade? Like, maybe I didn't know. Maybe I didn't see something on Deontay. He's out for the season and I look like an idiot. Like, and then what turns out is like somebody's inquiring about the deal that I just made with you, Bradley, like 3 days ago. I'm processing this, having not responded to. I said, "What's the deal on Deontay?" I said, "What do you mean?" And then like I'm getting texts. And then I got a screenshot. Bradley, I got a screenshot of the IBM Watson trade analyzer. And it's a trade. It's like a thought. It's like I think it's an honest trade from Britt, where he wants Saquon and Deontay for Jalen Waddle and Jerome Ford. Like Jerome Ford. I live under the mantra like you choose to be offended. Like things happen, you interpret things in your life, and you make the decision. Like we all do. Like we make the decision to be offended. When people get bent out of shape and they're offended, I'm like, either this person has a valid reason, or they don't have a valid reason, but they're choosing and I like in that moment, I chose to be royally offended.
Okay,
Bradley, I like first thing, like the trade analyzer is a good reference point. I think when your players have all played and like they've had like it is helpful. But 4 games, 5 games in the season, it sometimes it can be really, especially when somebody's missed a couple of games. Like the trade analyzer can be a little bit misleading. I was so offended because it was like either this guy's an idiot and he's going to see that these numbers, he's going to see that he's not going to look at the names. He's going to look at these numbers that this trade for me would grade out as an 89 and for him would grade out as a 67. Well, Jerome Ford has one game. He has one game. The game that Nick Chubb went out on, he had the game of his life. And he has not scored the amount of points he scored in that game. He has not scored that in the next 3 weeks. He's not scored that amount of points.
So you're telling me we can't trust fully the Watson trade analyzer? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, logical people can't trust that. And I think man, I wonder if this trade request, like I think it was the worst honest trade that's ever been sent. Like I think he was honest about it, and either he thinks I'm an idiot, he thinks I'm stupid and can't like read or like see, or he thinks that I'm in a desperate spot. Well, like we're both 4-1. Like I don't have to light my team on fire. Like I'm not starting over. I don't have to start over, right?
Yeah. This doesn't do a lot for his Mount Rushmore chances, I don't think either.
I will say this for my hot take, Purge. I think that I genuinely believe this in the moment right now. I've had 2 horrible trade offers. The other trade offer was Calvin Ridley and I need to look. It wasn't even a text. It was just like that's another thing. Like there's no negotiation with Wyatt. He just like boom, just sent me a trade, and I was immediately like, this is not good. This is so dumb. Here's my hot take, and man, we might be running out of time here, but I think that one of the things that I would love to, just because I love to see the minds behind negotiations and stuff like that, but I would love it if there was like a glass room trade block where like you could see from the outside in. It couldn't affect it. Like, I know there's so many reasons why that can't happen, Bradley, but like you could watch a trade negotiation go down with two people that you're not in the trade talk, and you can't like interfere at all, but you could just, I wish that could happen, because I think that would, I think it would eliminate some really stupid trades that offers. Here it is. I think that we should really look into some of these trade offers as potential violations of Rule 0. I just think that, I don't think it's enough for the trade to just be vetoed, because like, I don't know if there's ever been a vetoed trade. The shop would have to speak on that.
There has, but that was early.
There has been.
There's some early days. I was
okay.
But
has it been more than one?
There was one. Man, this opens up a whole new realm. But I agree with you. I agree.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is like a trade. Some of those trades, I think we should look at, like, does this violate Rule 0? There were like, to try and I don't know, and maybe it's slick. Maybe Brett could have pulled the wool over someone else's eyes. I'm very observant, and I'm not. Would you do that trade? Would you have taken that trade from me?
I would not. I don't think many would.
Would we be friends if I had offered you that trade?
We'd have some conversations. We'd have to do some
words would be had. Well, I had to let Brett know, and I did. I told him how I felt. He needed to know that it was outrageous, and I told him that it was outrageous.
So with that, I do want to ask then: seems like the relationship may be a little bit in a rocky spot, you and Ripping Lips. I'm curious where you're at. You tend to have somewhat of a villain role. You create rivalries, and I think that's part of your charm here. But you got any updates in that area?
I did not know you were going to ask me that, and I don't know if you knew this, but I actually sent a message to the rival that I had, Evan, and I said, "Hey, we're no longer rivals."
Oh, wow. Okay.
I said we're not rivals anymore. I've just had the most egregious thing done to me, and I will see to his demise. And so, breaking news, like Evan. I mean, I want to beat Evan. I always want to beat Evan. Everybody wants to beat Evan, of course. Like we want to beat Evan,
of course.
But I will see to it that the lips get ripped. And I'm not a guy who circles dates, but week 10 cannot come fast enough, Bradley. In fact, I might, I can't make that call right now, but I might rest my starters week 9 because I'm so committed to week 10, and Ripping Lips. So,
you heard it here first.
Yeah, as of right now, things can change, man. Gosh, we know like the wind changes, it like weather patterns change all the time. But like as of right now, on Friday the 13th, I don't think it's any coincidence that petty ass Nathan is being unleashed. PAN is unleashed, and he's back.
This is Talkin' Shop After Hours. We appreciate your time. We will see you.
Hold on one second, Riley. Hold on, not yet. We can't go yet.
Okay.
All right. Let's let him have the last word.
This has been Talkin' Shop After Hours. We'll see you next week.